Hi, this is Jana. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, my daughter wanted me to show you how I make simple, super simple beef stew. And it's one of our favorites. And even though it's spring, I'm not feeling really good today. You know, it's just kind of one of those rainy days. And it's like, I just want to show you, because I still have to feed my family. And so it's like, I'm going to show you my super speedy beef stew. I already went ahead and peeled some carrots, and I will tell you, if you know that you have fresh carrots or whatever that haven't been pesticided or whatever, you can go ahead and not peel them because the outside of the carrot is still very healthy, the peel, okay? And so this is a wonderful first meal for your children to learn how to make. You know, like your tweens, your teens that are safe around a stove. You can have them watch this video and then you guide them, because anytime you're working around, you know, hot surfaces, of course, and stoves, you want strict supervision. And so I've got my carrots. Get the peels out of the way here. Get out of the picture. There we go. And so then I just cut off the stem ends. There we go. And then I cut them into, because we have to cook them long enough for the beef to get tender. So you don't want to cut them into like wheels or they'll get overdone. So I cut them into, you know, good sized pieces. And I've got a bowl there. I'm not just throwing them in the air. And then I already washed a potato. And potatoes are sprayed with a chemical to prevent them from sprouting while in storage. And so I always take a pan of water and I put baking soda in, like a half a gallon of water, for instance, with a teaspoon of baking soda. And that gets rid of those pesticides that are on the potatoes. And so I cut them into nice sized pieces because, once again, they're going to have plenty of time to cook, and I don't want if I cut them too small, they're going to get too mushy. So that is my prep for the potatoes and the carrots. And then I have one onion, because even if you don't like cooked onion, it makes the flavor of the beef stew super good. And so I cut the onion in half, and I cut it from stem end to stem end. And then I cut it in half, and then I cut it in half like that. This way, and then this way, this way. There, so that's as fast as it is. Peeling potato, or don't even have to peel your potatoes. I don't, because the outside of the potato actually helps to digest the carbs in the potato. And so it's actually good to eat the potato with the skin on, because it helps to prevent all of those carbs from not being digested properly. It just helps to be healthier. So now I have a package, a large package of stew meat that I bought at Costco. And so I don't want to put that directly on my board with the plastic on it. And that's like, wow, that's a lot of meat. But you know how many meals this is going to be for our family? A lot of meals. Get rid of that. Okay. Wipe my hands off here. I have flour, just regular all-purpose flour. And I like Wondra because it's a real handy dandy thing to have, and it makes really good gravy. And this is, of course, as it's going to cook, it's going to make its own gravy. And so I go ahead and I flour all of the meat on all of its sides. Okay, so we'll be right back, and I'm going to have my pan heated on the stove behind me. I have my oven preheated to 375 degrees. And we're going to get this in real fast. Okay, we turned around here in the kitchen, and I've got my cast iron, porcelain covered cast iron heating up here. I want to add just a little bit of oil. I'm using olive oil. I'm not using any vegetable oil anymore. It is so unhealthy for us, we hear. So it's like, no, I think I'll pass. And so I'm just waiting for that oil to get hot. I'm going to put in a little bit of my flour, see if it cooks right away. That's how you test your oil. Or the old-fashioned way, I'm looking for a wooden spoon. When you put the wooden spoon in that it sizzles, there's not much oil in here. And bubbles, see the tiny bubbles around the base of the wooden spoon? That says it's ready. We really want this hot because it's going to cool down as soon as we put in the beef. And so we have our flour coated beef, and you don't want to overcrowd your skillet. And I'm going to cook the stew in this pot, not just browning the meat. But you can brown your meat in anything you want to. There's all different various size cubes that the butcher had cut up. So I'm just going with the flow. I'm not trying to make them even or anything. I'm just going with it. Like I said, I'm not really at the top of my game today, but it's okay. We're going to get there. We'll have supper for my family. And now I got the bottom of my skillet, and everybody's skillet's a different size. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wash my hand off real quick here. I'm going to add a little pepper because our family likes pepper. There we go. And we'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to show you how we flip it. It doesn't have to be all the way cooked through. We're just browning it. Okay, we're back. It's been about 2 minutes. You see how that's browning? And also the part about browning your meat is it makes more flavor in the stew gravy. And here we go. And it helps to thicken the gravy. So I'm going to be right back, and we're going to remove this and put in another batch. Okay, one of the ways you can tell that they're ready to be removed and that they're brown is if they release from the bottom of your skillet really easy. If they're still kind of stuck, then it's not time to, see that one just came right off. That one did too. And so they're nicely brown on all sides. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to repeat this, and we'll come back when we're ready for the next step. Okay, we are back, and this is the last of my meat being browned. And so see how the deliciousness on the bottom, it's got little flour bits cooked and all that. You don't want to get rid of that. Okay, that's Flavor City right there, okay? And so now I've got all of the ingredients that I prepped, and I'm going to just start layering them in. And so I'm going to do some onion on this bottom layer. Okay. Just going to divide all this up between all of my stew here. So a little bit of this and a little bit of that on every layer. I'm going to add a little bit of pepper. I don't have to add salt because our super simple, fast and easy beef stew here has an ingredient that already has all of that in it. And now I've got some potatoes. Remember, we cut up those potatoes. You can peel them if your family doesn't like the skin on them, okay? Well, we like, there we go. Now I'm going to add some beef. Isn't that good? Oh my gosh. And this will all cook down too. And those onions. And some carrots. Got full pot. Enough for company. So then I have some beef stock. You can use beef broth if that's what you have. Oh boy, there we go. Trying to get it open here. There we go. They put those new lids on them. You don't have to do those pull tabs, which I like. The pull tabs, you don't have to squeeze them out of there. And this is 4 cups. I'm making a double batch because I promise you my husband will eat this for breakfast, lunch, and supper. He loves beef stew. Opening up the other one here. Muscle up my sleeve. That's an old cartoon saying. Muscle up my sleeve, presto. Okay, now this is McCormick beef stew, which is my favorite, okay? And that's what I had in my pantry, so that's what I'm using. And the reason I say to fast and easy, you don't have to buy all of the ingredients for this. It just says on here that it's cornstarch and onion and sugar and quote, quote, spices, including paprika, black pepper, thyme. And so if you go to the store nowadays to buy thyme and bay leaves and everything else, you're going to add up super, super fast and make it expensive, okay? And so 1 pack is about $1, depending if you get it at Walmart. It's $1 something. And so for your beef stew, which I don't know about you, but that's a whole lot better than buying an $8 jar of this and a $7 jar of that. So anyway, this is super simple, and it's just really, I haven't found anything wrong with the flavor. It would taste exactly as if I pulled every one of them out of my cupboard and put it in myself. I am, for looks, going to add 2 bay leaves to mine, even though there's already bay leaves in the there. And so now I'm just going to stir that flavor seasoning down in here. See how easy that is? Super fast, super easy. Now I'm going to put it in the oven. That is a lot of stuff to cook. So I'm going to put it in my oven at 375 degrees, and I may turn it down after a while to 350. And I'm going to get it cranked up and going, and those beef cubes are going to be so tender when this is all done. I've got some extra beef cubes here, and I'm going to put them in a separate dish for me. So thank you for stopping by Jana's Kitchen, and guess what? We're going to be back when this is all done. We are back, and it is stew time at our house. And this is also a lesson, Aaron, back up a little bit, in why you should put a cookie sheet with foil on it underneath your pot when you're making stew. I had done that ahead of time. Something just told me it was probably going to boil over. Saved me a whole lot of time cleaning up that oven. So, all right. I'm going to use this to help pry off my lid. There we go. Has a good steam to it. And we have got some stew tonight. And I want to teach you about bay leaves. I put in 3. 1, 2, 3. And there's the other part of it. You want to take these out as soon as your soup or stew or whatever you're making is done. That little spine in the bay leaf can poke your intestine or the back of your throat or whatever. So that's the first thing you always do, is remove the lid, then remove the bay leaves. And I always put them on top. So there is our stew. I did check it about 40 minutes ago, and everything was getting tender. See, fork tender, the potatoes, the carrots, the meat. Look at that, tender, falls right apart. So it is, I'm just gonna get A little more liver. See, look at nice tender. That is the most beautiful stew. And underneath here is all the juices. See? My husband is in the living room behind us. And I know he's a happy camper right now because he knows what's coming. Get his plate full of beef stew. And you can look at how the flour on the meat made the gravy. It's so thick already. Beautiful. And get him a few more carrots there. That's a big portion, but we haven't really made a meal today. So anyway, that is Jana's super simple beef stew. You don't have to go out and buy a bunch of spices. I already showed you that. I'm going to have the recipe. Underneath the video, you'll see the word more, M-O-R-E. Tap that, and then the recipe will populate right below it. I'll have everything written out. And everybody's pots and pans and whatever are different. Your ovens are different. But this took, let's see, it's 6 o'clock. So it took a little over 3 hours to get to this. But that's a big pot, so you may not make a double batch. But thank you for stopping by Jana's Kitchen. We will see you next time.